All right, everyone's time is valuable to everyone, so we'll get rolling here this morning. Thank you on behalf of AGvisorPRO. Thanks everyone for joining us here this morning. What we're going to do is we'll go around and introduce the AGvisorPRO team that are on the call, and then we'll have the panelists introduce themselves as well. That's where we'll get started. So just so everyone's aware, we are recording this morning's session, so that is being recorded. And also, if you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat function of the call here this morning, and we'll get those answered here as well. So let's go ahead. We'll get started. Wilson Schultz, want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Wilson Schultz. I'm the customer success specialist with AGvisorPRO. So I end up getting to work closely with a lot of the experts who come on board here and train them how to use the platform. So it's been great getting to meet all of them. As well, I'm from Central Alberta, originally from Wetaskiwin, Alberta, and I never grew up on a farm, but I worked for farmers growing up. So yeah, excited to be part of the team. I'll hand it over to Patrick Walter, COO of AGvisorPRO now.
Thanks, Wilson. Yeah, I guess I'm part of the problem why this company actually exists. I started the company together with Rob quite a while ago now. Initially, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to ask at the end where do you think where my weird accent's going to come from. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, initially I was coming over from Europe and came to Canada, did my master's in agronomy. So my background is all in agriculture and on-farm research. I'll hand it over to Chris.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Patrick and Wilson. So I'm Chris Babbings. I'll sort of be moderating the conversation or facilitating the conversation this morning. Sales team leader here, joining you from, unfortunately, rainy Kinistino, Saskatchewan this morning. We're just getting started on a good run. So it's unfortunate, but I guess we'll have to take the rain. There's nothing we can do about it. So I've been with for just over a month, about a month and a half now. Previously was with a precision ag company, and certainly excited to be here and excited to be on the call this morning. Would like to go through, introduce our panelists this morning. So we're excited to have these folks on the call, and we're also excited to be partnered with them on the AGvisorPRO platform. Aline, we'll start with you this morning.
Hi, I'm Elaine Fraze, farm family coach, and I'm on a mission to help farm families have richer relationships so that they can transition to the next generation well. And I'm located in sunny Boissevain, Manitoba, and we're harvesting our canola again today, straight cutting. I'm very thankful for amazing crops, but we did get frost last week, so the soybeans aren't as happy as they could be.
Well, based on that, I think that little bit of market information will turn it next to Lawrence. And Lawrence, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lawrence Kluza. I'm a grain marketing coach, worked for Agritrend for a number of years, also worked in the grain industry for many years as a commodity futures trader and within the sales department. So the services I provide are helping farmers make more money with the commodities that they grow. I grew up, we had a farm just outside Saskatoon, worked in Calgary for a while, and now live in Winnipeg. So I got all the prairie provinces covered. It's a little cool here this morning, but it's supposed to go up to 22 this weekend, so that should be nice.
Perfect, thanks. And you can't market grain if it doesn't end up in the bin, and if it goes through the back end of the combine, that's not a good thing. So with that, we'll turn it over to Marcel.
I like that. Yeah, good day, everybody. My name is Marcel Kringer. I'm the founder and co-owner of Bushel Plus out of kind of sunny Brandon, Manitoba, just in the neighborhood of Elaine there. This is the second weird accent here on the call today. I'll leave that open for guesses as well. I've been involved in a lot of different harvest management operations around the world, custom harvesting. Before I came to Canada, became the Cargill agronomist here in the area. Fortunate enough to found a company called Bushel Plus, where we help farmers being more profitable at harvest and realizing what their actually harvest loss is with the device that we came up with and now grew into into an integrated system where people can put more grain in the bin and have it less out going in the field.
Great. Well, thank you all to the three of you for joining us here this morning. So for those of you who don't know, AGvisorPRO, we're a new company on the ag block here. We've been around since 2019. We were founded by Patrick and Rob, launched at Ag in Motion in 2019, and have steadily grown since then. In March prior to COVID, we had two employees, and now we're around 21. We've increased in team size, we've increased in partner size, and we're continuing to increase our focus and just trying to find different opportunities to connect individual producers or in folks within the ag industry to ag experts and companies like the individuals we have on the call here today. So that is our main goal, is to really reduce time and space and make those connections so that producers and people within the ag industry can get the answers they need quickly from the people that have the knowledge. A lot's changed here in agriculture and in the world, obviously, in the last 6 months, and I think I'd probably like to start there and just go around, and I guess tell us how your worlds have changed and how you're communicating with your customers and potential customers has changed, and obviously what role technology plays in that. So Marcel, we'll start with you here this morning on that one.
Yeah, definitely a different world we all live in now. Obviously, for us, being a company that sells a product and supports the farmers throughout their product, farm shows have been a big thing for us in the past. Obviously, those are, as we're seeing right now, have been turned into something completely different. So connecting the customers, not face-to-face anymore, but have another platform of virtually bringing that support and explaining the product and explaining, in our case, it's mostly about optimizing machines and optimizing the harvest. So it was for us another level of connecting to a farmer in a different way. And obviously that was, this spring happened pretty quick for everybody, that we went down to social distance, which I don't like that word much, or I would say physical distance, because I think the social aspect is very important for everybody, and it's good to interact with people and see people. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And, it's important to keep that alive in a different platform that gives you options like this, that you can see the other person to still kind of interact with and have that, not the social distance, but the physical distance.
Perfect. And yeah, that's that's one thing that's certainly changed this time of year. I would have never have thought of jumping on a video conference and having a drink with a friend before. That was never that was never a thing. It was just wasn't something that we connected. But it's I've found it's ways that socially we've been able to find different ways to reach out and have those conversations and spend an hour with a friend that you haven't seen or haven't talked to in a while, and it gave you a reason and a purpose to do that. So there's definitely some great things that have come out of COVID. Obviously there's some terrible things too, but I tend to try and focus on the positive, and that's certainly one of them. Lawrence, over to you.
Yeah, I'm maybe a little less impacted than someone like Marcel, though. As Marcel identified, the farm shows were certainly important for advertising my business and getting out to meet farmers. Certainly, farmers always wanted to see you as a consultant, and so with COVID, certainly that has changed. Farm visits have essentially stopped. Everything's done by email or by phone now. So video chat is probably the way we're moving in the future here.
Elaine, your thoughts on how your world has changed?
Well, I'm sitting in my home office, Chris, that I've been in for 38 years. So I'm used to working from home. And as a farm family coach, I had been using Zoom for the last 2 to 3 years just to have this connectivity with people all over North America. but I have props to make it fun and visual. And if I just gave you a little ski, I've turned my office into a virtual studio. So yesterday I was on with Tracy Burnett with Impact Farm Marketer doing a video on farming's in-law factor. And how COVID has impacted my business as a farm family coach is just trying to embrace people around, you know, if you died or if you got sick, would that finally push you over the edge to take some action to get your affairs in order? And so it's just really important, I think, for the folks on the call today to understand that how we communicate has changed a bit, but it's still really important to keep that family dynamic healthy. And what the great pause has done in my world is it's amplified the tension that was already pre-existing. And I just want to reach out to Marcel and tell you, Marcel, about my friend Anders Boulanger, who runs a company called AGvisor. And he's all about how you're going to make the switch to digital trade shows. And I asked my husband about, you know, say, for instance, Ag Days is going to be digital this year. Farm Management Canada is going to be virtual. The Pacific Ag Show is going to be virtual. All these things are going to be different. But I agree with Chris that the connection is still really important. And so what I would encourage families to do is to embrace technology and use it as just another way that we're going to stay connected, because the research shows that families who can bounce back from these hard times have three things. They're able to communicate with each other and their friends, they're able to stay connected to community, and they're able to celebrate. And the reason I carry this guy around is to put a degree of levity in it, because this is my talking stick. So even when I'm doing a Zoom call, I'll pass the bowl to the person and say, who needs the bowl next? So that we have to be fun and creative to keep that communication going. So as a farm family coach, I'm just here to say, embrace the technology. And I'm old enough to be your mother. So if your mother can do it, go for it. It's all good.
That's fantastic. You know, the one thing that I think is really important in agriculture and always has been and will be, especially when it comes to leveraging the advice and the opinions of experts within ag, is trust. You know, and I think the trust is a huge thing. And you know, I look around and I mean, Elaine, you're giving families advice. The trust factor is huge. Lawrence, you're providing advice on effectively how, you know, how that farm or a huge way that farm is going to make money, you know, over the next year and market their grain. And Marcel, you're providing advice really on changing some of the ways that they've been doing things, right? If a producer's been setting their combine or doing something for the same way for the last 5 years, and you know, you're now introducing a new way of doing things, and so they have to trust that your product's going to work, and you know what the results are actually what they are. And so I guess just wondering if you could speak to, you know, how you go about building trust with your, you know, within your networks, within your customer base, and you know, I mean, obviously that may have changed a little bit through you know, through COVID and through the use of virtual technology, but still important nonetheless. So just wondering if you could speak to that a little bit. Lawrence, we'll start with you.
Well, certainly the way to earn trust is how you perform with the functions that you do and your interaction with people. You certainly have to be out there talking with your clients and your network of people and be able to provide them with good results, which we've done over the years here at our company. So staying interactive is very important.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, what's the saying? Past future success is you know, best indicated by past results, or I believe something like that, right? So if you've been successful for people in the past, there's no doubt that that's going to continue to build trust with them. Elaine, I think, you know, I mean, trust. I can't even quantify how important that would be in what you do. So I'll let you speak on that.
Well, I have a phrase that pays. I say, you get the behavior that you accept. And I think the expression you were grabbing for is past performance is a pretty good indicator of future behavior. And There's lots of pressures on farm families right now. There always will be, but we talked earlier about the resilience. And what I'm finding is the hesitation of, we'll do it later. But if you look at how the farming year goes now, there's really no downtime in agriculture anymore because of the technology, because of fungicides. I mean, fungicides change July, right? Farmers don't have downtime anymore. So there's always something more. So really it's really about having a good talk with yourself and your spouse and your family and your business and figuring out what your key priorities are. And I think when people come up with excuses, Chris, I usually say it's procrastination and conflict avoidance that is killing agriculture. So much of AGvisorPRO is on the technical side, and what Marcel does and Lawrence does in terms of production and marketing and getting that next 5%, as Christian Hebert would say, that's all important. But then we also have to balance it out with a family and the personal side. And if you've got a strong family, you're unstoppable. And I speak a lot about the culture of agriculture. So I just want the listeners today to think about 3 words. What is it you truly believe? So what do you believe about technology? Or what do you believe about your ability to change the future? Or what do you believe about what you can control? And secondly, how are you behaving, which is exactly what you just mentioned. Are you choosing to embrace this? Are you choosing to take action and grab hold of what you can change and mitigate and navigate? And then thirdly, how are you making decisions on your farm? And I was just on I have a new psychologist I'm working with. Her name is Dr. Moira Summers. If you want to check her out, her website is moneymindandmeaning.com. And money is obviously finances, and financial transparency is obviously really important for fairness in farm transition. But what do you think about money? Oh, I don't want to invest $45 in talking to somebody on AGvisorPRO for 10 minutes. That's way too much money. Are you kidding me, guys? What does a bag of seed canola cost? 700 and some bucks. You can't afford a bag of seed canola of time to hire an advisor. And Wilson's laughing, but guys, farmers think in bags of seed canola. And when I tell them my time is worth a bag of seed canola, they go, okay, Elaine, now I start to get it. So we want to talk about a fair exchange of value here. So you're going to invest thousands of dollars on your lovely auger or the new Meridian grain bin that's showing up in your yard, but you're not willing to invest a few $100 or whatever on realigning the decision making of your family and your farm business that's actually going to make you money. And that's what I want farmers to smarten up with. I also want everybody listening to quit buying things just to save tax. Like there's these decisions that farmers make out of habit that they really need to give their head a shake around. And I'm over 60 now, so I don't really care what you think about what I say. Sorry.
No,
Not sure you knew where that was going, Chris.
What's that?
Not sure you knew where that was going.
I didn't, but I mean, I there is certainly parts in there that I think resonate with all of us. How having had some in-depth conversations with producers in our various walks of life. There's the equating to something on the farm, we talk a lot at AGvisorPRO just about time, and that's one thing that I personally wish more producers put value on is time. What is your time worth? And that's,
they say that time is your most valuable currency, right? And you don't want to trade time for dollars. So farmers really, I mean, if you can get expert advice and create a solution within 5 minutes, that's worth a lot in your bottom line.
Marcel, can you maybe speak a little bit about time, right? Like you have a tool that helps growers getting more efficient at harvest. And I know your business is almost across the globe, from Australia to Germany to almost gave it away to Russia, I believe, as well, and Canada. So, how can you be anywhere? And if you can't be anywhere, how are you doing this? And really, how does technology help you to actually solve your or help your customers in those situations?
Good Good question there. I like how Elaine positioned the whole thing of this as an investment. So that's how we kind of position it as well. Don't look at it as a cost. You just have that as a number. Look at it as a per acre investment. I like how you talk about the bag of canola seed. We always put it in per acre cost. How many acres do you farm? And break it down. Look at it per acre, because that relates to other things, right? Fungicides, fertilizer per acre relates to those numbers. And for your question there, Patrick, yeah, it's been quite a journey, and without technology, without these virtual things, I don't think we would have been able to grow in this company as quickly. We grew out of my basement here out of Brandon, Manitoba, rather quickly, word of mouth, really. One farmer seen it, liked it, next one, and it really grew into different countries. And now we're operating in so many different time zones that whole virtual thing is another layer of helping us to manage our day and helping harvest. For example, you were saying you're straight cutting canola in Boissevain. There's soybeans starting today here. Meanwhile, next week, harvest is going to start in Australia, and corn harvest is going to start in Europe next week as well. So there's 3 different time zones already where we're now working in the AGvisorPRO platform, where we can schedule appointments. We can make it work, so we don't have to be the night shift here. We can kind of schedule it ahead of time a little bit. So it's not just emails and WhatsApp and text messages like this. This gives us another layer of the customer can reach out to us when it fits for them. And what I really like about it is that, so our system works with an app. We developed an app along the way where people can do the calculations for harvest losses. They can save their combine settings, crop details in it. And we were able to integrate the AGvisorPRO direct link into that app. So it's really all in the farmer's hands. While he's scrolling through, he can start to connect with us and schedule the meeting or the questions that he has, and we can get back to him in a timely manner. Because sometimes not all of our team is in Canada. Like, I mean, now we're not traveling, obviously, but before that, we would be in Australia, we would have people in Europe, and he would be in a different time zone as well. So it's another layer of managing, getting back to the customer in a timely manner with the support they need, and then relate to them.
Lawrence, can you maybe talk to that a little bit too in terms of time management? Like, you know, how important is it sometimes to pull the trigger in the right moment, and how important is it to sometimes also get maybe a second opinion from someone else on, like, hey, should I be selling my grain right now or hedging or yeah, can you talk a little bit to that?
Timing is everything in grain marketing. So identifying the right period on when they should be selling their grain. And as all farmers know, prices change throughout the year. So trying to stay ahead of where the world markets are going, what the supply and demand outlook is like, and then gain that information of farmers. So for a farmer, he may be selling grain into the elevator manager may be pushing him to price more grain. He needs an answer right away, whether he should price that or whether he should just put it on storage and wait for pricing later. So timing is very important. And with this app, certainly it provides farmers with greater flexibility. They have a number of choices they can go to, make a quick call, and get the answer that they need to the problem that's right in front of them. And yeah, grain marketing timing is very important.
Hey, Lawrence, I also want to just expand on that just a little bit. So I'm by no means a market analyst in any term of the sense, but a lot of the times I think what people like you do is kind of magic in my mind. And I'm not asking you to share all your magic, but you can maybe give some market insight to this year. What kind of questions are people asking, and what kind of questions are farmers asking, and how do you adapt? Every year it's different, stuff is changing, and you got to really stay on top of it. So if you could just touch on that for a second, what's going through people's heads this year?
Well, there's lots of different things. At the start of the year was what crops to grow. We were looking at the supply and demand of different crops. Wheat did not look good, durum looked great. So all our clients, we were pushing them into durum rather than spring wheat if they have the option to switch from one to the other. And at this point in time, it looks like a great trade for producers, making about $20,000 a quarter based on that decision. So there's a lot of money involved in grain marketing. So providing good advice to farmers, timely advice is very important. Right now, farmers are asking about where canola prices are going. We're at 52-week highs. We've been hitting 52-week highs here about 3 weeks in a row. So that's all related to what China is doing in the soybean market and a little bit with the frost. So we'll see where the market goes from here. But certainly, farmers should probably be taking some of these profits at these price levels.
I love it, Lawrence. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, just for all the farmers here, 10-minute call with Lawrence on AGvisor Pro, $60, grow some durum, $20,000 a quarter. Let's go.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Patrick, I think you have a video that you'd like to share with everyone here.
Yeah, you know, something we've tried 3 times already. It's like we tried to play it once at the beginning. We tried it already playing it at the end, and today we're gonna play it in the middle and just make a little mental break for everybody. And it's only gonna be a 4-minute video. So I'm gonna be sharing my screen here, and you nod your head once you can see my screen here. Oh, actually, that reminds me, I am not sharing my audio, so I apologize for that. We'll have to do that again. Share computer sound.
Just while Patrick gets that set up, one of our attendees, Rob, pointed out that for the cattle guys, they speak in terms of steers, not bags of canola. So I think that's that's an important point, and we understand where you're coming from on that one. So we'll turn it back over to you, Patrick.
Perfect. Do you guys see my screen right now? Okay, so let's touch on that.
Hey everyone, it's Patrick here from AGvisorPRO. I think a lot of people are wondering how the trade show season is going to go this year. How's that going to work? How are farmers going to enter your booth or chat with your reps? How will you demo your products live? You know, actually see and talk to digital visitors. AGvisorPRO has a solution with its Tech Direct program. Tech Direct makes a face-to-face connection between potential customers and your reps remotely. So your booth, it can be anywhere. And your reps, they really just only need a clean shirt.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity now to tell you a little bit about where we came from and where we're going with AGvisorPRO. It was late in 2018 that I mashed together a PowerPoint presentation basically combining eHarmony together with Uber, together with FaceTime, together with Twitter. And I shared that idea with farmers to determine whether or not there was an appetite for this kind of a platform that we had in mind. And indeed, farmers expressed that this was something of interest. And so we struck the company, we trademarked AGvisorPRO, and we began the development and resulted in the launch of the minimum viable product last July at Ag in Motion. So the hypothesis that I had, the theory, was that there's going to be all sorts of Internet of Things or connectivity devices, sensors that will tell a farmer where he has a problem. What the problem is, well, that may happen with recognition software and artificial intelligence, but why the problem is there and how to fix it, well, I think that's going to be the realm of the human being for a long, long time. So what we've done with AGvisorPRO, it's a connection between high tech and high touch. We want to leverage the tech, but we also recognize that the wisdom and knowledge of experts in agriculture is very, very important. And so we're creating a way to connect that high tech with the high touch. That's what AGvisorPRO is designed to do. And so we embarked on a mission to effectively shrink time and space. And this built on the work that we did with AgriTrend, which I founded in 1997. And we grew to one of North America's largest agricultural consulting firms, eventually selling AgriTrend and AgriData to Trimble. Following that, I was on a mission with Dot Technology Corp, which was acquired by Raven Industries. And that's effectively when I came back to lead AGvisorPRO. And since March, we've grown our company from 2 to over 20 people. And this has resulted in us being able to do something amazing for agriculture. AGvisorPRO is more than just connecting farmers and experts. What we've been able to create with AGvisorPRO is an interconnectivity matrix that can connect farmers and independent experts and industry experts and researchers and government and even the public on a matrix where everybody can communicate using AGvisorPRO. So AGvisorPRO has a number of facets to it. Farmers are able to link to experts with AGvisorPRO instantaneously. Imagine connecting with people like Tom Wolfe and talking about spraying, or Scott Mears about insects, or Derek Squire about grain marketing. That's the power that you have. For small to medium-sized agricultural businesses and agricultural suppliers and manufacturers, we've got something called Tech Direct. Tech Direct is where we register your company, your products, and your representatives, and we create instantaneous accessibility between people who have questions about your company or your products and your technical representatives, and this is all done in the app for free. And finally, instant access is about AGvisorPRO being embedded inside of other applications, SaaS platforms, or CRMs. It's really creating instant connectivity using AGvisorPRO within another platform or application. We're also hopeful that we'll be able to white label and work with mental health associations to offer mental health support for the agriculture community using AGvisorPRO. The bottom line is we're just getting started. We're growing our team, so we're needing to hire more people. We're growing our partners. We need to have more Tech Direct partners. We're growing our user base. We're growing our investors. So if any of those things appeal to you, please reach out to us. And finally, I just urge you to download AGvisorPRO on iOS or Android or desktop. Download the application. If you're a farmer, you can start using it right away for free by connecting to Tech Direct partners. If you're an expert, build your profile, and you can start leveraging your knowledge and wisdom to truly help agriculture in a brand new way to provide answers now with AGvisorPRO.
Perfect. Thanks, Patrick. Glad we were able to get that to work. So, as Rob encouraged everyone at the end of the video, please download the app. If you download while the trade show is on, we'll get you $60 in free credits to use to reach out to some of our experts. Marcel, I believe you have to drop off the call here, prior commitments. I guess before you leave, is there anything that you'd like to tell our attendees about your business, about AGvisorPRO before you go?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Definitely learned a few things here this morning, or today. It's good. I just want to thank everybody, and I want to thank AGvisorPRO for the opportunity to link this within our Bushel Plus app as well. I think it's a great addition to the customer. I mean, like I said before, we're providing the product to measure combine harvest losses. We're providing the insights of how to reduce them, make more money for the farmer. But then this is another layer of connecting to the people and relate to them. And especially in these days, have that social interaction by these video calls right from the field. So we are excited about it. We wish AGvisorPRO all the best, and Elaine, good luck with the rest of the canola today, and Lawrence with all the grain marketing. Thank you very much for having me today.
You bet. Thank you, Marcel, and we wish you all the best as well.
Thank you.
Elaine, wanted to turn it to you next. One of the things that we talked about in that video is that this isn't an app just for producers to reach out to industry experts. It's also a way for industry experts to reach out to other industry experts. And I think about someone in Lawrence's shoes, and Lawrence, I'm certainly not speaking for you, but there has to be a considerable amount of stress and at times tension and just a wide range of emotions that someone like yourself would go through in your role. Elaine, just wanted to talk about, the ability for industry folks to reach out to you on the AGvisorPRO platform and just have a conversation, and just walk through some of the different things that you can help industry people out with as well.
Thanks, Chris. We have a lot of different networks in play. One of them is the Canadian Association of Farm Advisors, which are people who are typically lawyers, accountants, and farm coaches, and anybody interested in building the transition side of agriculture. So I would think that, again, just knowing what everybody's expertise is, and I think the culture within the AGvisorPRO is one of sharing and caring. And you saw at the end of the video where Rob also talked about his concern for mental health. And I'm calling this now in 2020 the time of the great pause. I read an article right at the beginning about how we frame this time that we're in right now. And it's amplified a lot of tension for families, and not only just for farm producers and farm families, but I'm a farm partner, I'm a grandma, I'm a mom, I'm a coach. I have about 6 different roles sitting on my shoulders, just like everybody else on this call. And so whether you're coming at as a role as an expert advisor, you're also a human being with other needs probably in your own practice. So I think it's a great, like Rob said, matrix of connectivity for us to really impact everybody, whether we're at the production level, the advisor level, or the association level, or the global level. And that's what's so exciting to me is, I have farm family coach friends in Ireland and New Zealand and the US, and we have this spirit of, we all are working for the same cause, which is the betterment of agriculture. And so with that culture, this gives us an opportunity to be able to share. And I think something that hasn't been mentioned yet that I learned from Patrick in my training with him is that all of this is recorded and archived. So just in terms of us as professionals not being overwhelmed with all the stuff that just keeps coming at us every day, there's a way to make it savable and shareable and returnable, so that and same in my Zoom calls. Whenever I do a Zoom call, I did one this week with a young farmer from Alberta who had an amazing breakthrough. And the breakthrough came through coaching with me, but also through audiobooks that he could listen to while he was working. And then he could go back and listen to it again and share certain portions with his parents who finally got what he'd been trying to break through for the last 5 years. So again, the digital way of being and doing things gives us a chance to interact live now, but this is also being recorded so that you can come back and revisit the pieces that have meaning for you. And as advisors who live very multiple, complicated lives like everybody else does, I think it really helps us have tools to keep us better organized and to also keep us well connected with each other.
Yeah, and that's, that's a great point, and thank you for bringing that up. I think there's, often we think about different ways that having a recorded session could help, a producer with, well, what did they say was the blend we should put down, or how did they say we should troubleshoot that monitor? We don't often think of of recording and going back to the little things that Elaine might have said. Just when I'm feeling this, or when we're going through this, or when we're facing through this, these are the things that we need to focus on. And, and I think all of us have had that impactful, I should say, I hope all of us have been able to connect with somebody who's truly impacted us on different levels. And I'm sure that we've all forgot some of the things that those individuals have told us. And this is really a way to come back to that time and time again. The next time you're feeling stress, and just go back and review it. This is what we were told. So, I think that's a really important message. Lawrence, wanted to reach out to you next and just kind of ask the same question just around the industry conversations that you may be able to have with different folks. Again, it's you have a lot of knowledge and a wide range of experience. I guess just wondering if you could speak to some of the ways that you could help out other other individuals within the ag industry if they would reach out to you on AGvisor Pro?
Yeah, we have lots of farmer clients, but we also have industry clients as well. And I'm also looking for solutions at times. I get a lot of agronomy questions from farmers, and so often I'm looking for answers to some of those questions. So having the advisors available on AGvisor Pro certainly provides that benefit where I can find someone that can answer a farmer's question, or I can point the farmer in the right direction to get those questions answered for himself. It is a valuable tool.
Now,
No,
because I'm a bit the technology guy on this call here, and I guess one of the youngest too, which is not true because Wilson is still better looking. He's got more hair than I do. So, the question that I always ask myself, like right now, there's so much talk in the ag industry about precision agriculture and how artificial intelligence will shape the future, etc. And personally, obviously, I see opportunities in it, but as of right now, I also see those technologies are so far away to make an actual impact on farms in certain cases. So just wanted to kind of maybe ask Lawrence or Elaine, how do you guys feel in that regards? How much technology is there coming in, and how important do you find is still that human interaction that you can actually have a conversation with a grower and say, look, yeah, I understand how it looks on your farm, but because of those things, you might want to consider something else. Can you guys maybe speak to that a little bit?
I can reply to that. Technology is certainly speeding up the rate at which farmers are able to get their questions answered, and it just adds to the productivity of the whole farm operation. But you still need the human element. You still need to develop that trust with your clients. So being able to interact with them, provide them the answers quickly, are two things that I think AGvisor Pro really helps farmers with.
I just want to give you a fun example, Patrick. Our son Ian decided to plant sweet corn beside the field corn this year, and you have to do it in a 3-week delay, otherwise it'll cross hibernate. And we put an ad out on Facebook, just on our links, social media, and had over 1,500 hits just on my video, and had hundreds of people come on the September long weekend to pick sweet corn for free, which was our gift to the community. And you can imagine the delight of people who said, they texted me back and said, Elaine, we've never picked corn from the field before, or this was awesome. The raccoons got all of my corn. It was so nice to have your corn. And again, I'm using this as an example because it's light and it's fun, and it's a way of showing how would we have ever gotten the news out to people that you need to come now. And even after the frost last week, the corn was still good, and refugee families came and picked it, and people took it to birthday parties. All kinds of good things happened. But that happened because now we have social media. And so again, thinking about the human side of our life and how we do life as farming is so important, because the technology is a tool. But again, going back to the pyramid that Rob showed, it's the why and the how that really gets people stuck, and being able to walk through technology. So Patrick, having you to talk to work with me how to activate my AGvisor Pro is way more helpful to me than trying to figure it out by myself on the internet. And I was just at another thing last night with other professional speaker friends. We're learning how to use foot pedals and OBS, like it's Greek, right, to people, until someone walks them through and helps show them how to do it. So I really want people to just really look at what their minds are thinking. And there's a book called Why Don't You Want What I Want by Rick Maurer. And he talks about where people push back. And people push back in coaching and in succession planning and other decision making, 3 places. So in their head, they don't understand. In their heart, it doesn't feel good. And what Lawrence said, in their gut, they don't trust their advisor, or they don't think it's going to work. But let's think about where the pushback is coming in our farm families to make us better business people and stronger families. Is it because you don't like feeling dumb? Farmers hate to be made to feel dumb. So if you're an advisor, use language that's going to say, do you understand? Do you want me to tell you how to do this in a different way? Or I'm just curious, what's keeping you stuck? Because what I'm offering you is so amazing, but you don't seem to want to embrace it. And then what you might find out that it's actually not in their head. They understand this is good value and good technology or good information. But where their resistance is coming from is the emotion they're feeling around, I have to take a leap of faith to trust that this is going to work out. But I don't like how this feels right now because this is hard for me to embrace. So again, just being really clear that a lot of stuff happens in our brain that keeps us stuck or stopped from amazing things happening. If we just can tweak it a little and say, wow, let's just experiment. You know, I'm a big believer in my 4-H motto, learn to do by doing. So anybody who's afraid of embracing something new, you know, get a hold of Wilson or Chris or Patrick or Chantel and somebody in AgPro and walk alongside till you get it, because we're all gonna get better by doing it more.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that learn to do by doing, and you know, there's lots of things I'm thankful in life, but 4-H is certainly one of them. I think that's a great model, and you know, one that's always stuck with me from a young age for sure. Wilson, I want to turn it over to you. You're an important part of our team. You work a lot with the ag experts and as well as our customers. Just want to get some of your thoughts or throw some questions over to you as well. You know, any of our attendees, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to ask our panelists.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Chris. Yeah, again, to all our attendees, we're getting here to the last 10 minutes or so. So just throw your questions out. Elaine, Lawrence, myself, Patrick, and Chris are all happy to answer any questions you have. But jumping back, just what Elaine was talking about, she was talking about how technology is evolving and becoming better and better, but the why and the how, and just keeping humans and the human interaction involved. And instead of looking at it like technology is coming along, we're just finding a better way to leverage the human knowledge and the human interaction that we have. And I really see that as that's a huge part of what we're trying to do with AgvisorPRO. And I like that you touched on that, Elaine. One thing that COVID's taught me is just, we had a lot of this technology, or almost all of it, before COVID hit. We weren't using it as much because there wasn't as much of a need. But I think after now, we're all really seeing that there's a lot of benefits even after COVID for using some of this technology to leverage things like Elaine and Lawrence's advice, because it ideally opens them up to a new network where people they never would have been able to connect with before can now reach out to them. So a question for Elaine and Lawrence. I know that we're always talking about COVID, and sometimes I get tired of talking about COVID, but do you think the way the business has changed during COVID, do you think we're ever going back to normal, or do you think that a lot of this is here to stay? I'll start with Elaine.
I always laugh when people use the word normal, because I say normal is only a setting on your dishwasher. And that's it. There's some amazing.
Well, there's also heavy wash on there too. So
yeah, right.
maybe we're in heavy wash currently.
Okay, so there's been a lot, you know, anticipatory. They call it anticipatory loss, is worrying for what the future is going to look like, and I think a lot of people are stuck in that stage, right? Because they have no sense of what we're going to get back to. But you asked Wilson on how things will change for the good. And one of them is teleconferencing, being able to meet with medical doctors and experts by phone and not having to drive 3 hours. In my world, my girlfriend, who's a lawyer in Souris with me in Haddad, her name's Laura McDougall-Williams. They're also outstanding young farmers. Laurel told me probably 3 months ago that as a lawyer now, she can do digital witnessing. So I just wrote an article for Grain News for next month about there's no excuse anymore. You don't have to physically be present to do business. And that's exciting, especially for people listening to this who live in northern Saskatchewan or somewhere where the internet and hopefully they have decent internet. That's a whole other story. Tracy Burnett just told me yesterday she and her husband are investing in a new tower to get better internet, because they know that to go forward after this, what they've learned during this great pause, they need great internet to be able to do business well from their farm. So the question is, are we going to be the same again? No, we're never going to be the same again. And you better be okay with that. And Dr. William Bridges has a thing called the neutral zone. And the neutral zone is what needs to end. And what needs to end is thinking that we're going to go back to the good old days. And what needs to begin is what resiliency and what can we learn from this time to make our lives amazingly flexible as we go into what the new life is going to be, because we're not ever going back. And then if we could do a whole other discussion, Wilson, on another call about politics and racism and all the other things that have changed in this time. And I'm a big fan of Brene Brown. Her podcast is called Unlocking Us. And she referred to an essay by a woman whose last name is Taylor. I can't remember her first name, but she wrote a whole essay around how the world is never, ever going to be the same again.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for your response. Thorough. And yeah, we're not going back to normal. I'm glad that you touched on that. Lawrence, what do you think? I know that your business largely, you have been doing lots of these online meets for a while, and you've been working out of this office, but touch on that for us a bit as well.
Well, it's the new normal. And like Elaine said, we're probably not going back to the old normal, if there ever was an old normal. The world keeps evolving, but certainly COVID sped things up here in terms of how we interact with people and how that whole thing has changed. And especially on the medical side and on the legal side, it really speeded things up there, where it's more done through video chat than it is in person. And I think that's just going to spill over on the ag side as well. And there's so much distance often between farmers and the expert that they're trying to talk to. So this AGvisorPRO just provides greater opportunity and to shorten that distance and shorten the time that's required in between knowing what the problem is and finding a solution to that problem. It is a new world, so it's exciting.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Yeah, great insight. So assuming that it's not going back to normal, I want to thank you both for being on here and for being on AGvisorPRO. You both are early adopters of this technology. We're brand new. We're trying to do new things, and we're just getting started here. Thanks for the faith in being on this and in the product. And I want to, if you can answer this a little bit, where do you see this going in 5 years? And why did you decide to become a part of it right early on, right now? I'll start with Elaine again and go back to Lawrence.
I got adopted really early on because I love Patrick and he's Swiss. And I'm adopted mother. There you go. You didn't know that answer either, did you, Patrick? But we've had 5 trainees on our farm here, Wilson. And I grew up with Norman and Lois Eady in Dugald, Manitoba, where I was a child on a farm with 19 international workers. So my world has always been huge. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way I live, to be a lifelong learner and to embrace possibility. And so that's when I was an early adopter to AGvisorPRO. It's also great for me as an aging advisor. I've been working with farm families for 4 decades now, and I plan to keep working. Retirement is not in my vocabulary. It's more like reinvention. So the fact that I can still keep giving value to people by picking up their phone and conversing with me and giving them tools, that really excites me. And as you saw my beautiful grandchildren in the frames here, we have to be flexible and adaptable. And family comes first in my value system, and the richness of relationships is key. And so that's what AGvisorPRO gives me, is connectivity to all those amazing advisors and people in agriculture out there. And we can walk alongside each other and encourage each other by using AGvisorPRO.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I just saw Chantal was typing. You're the youngest hip grandma out there, and your energy is intoxicating. So thank you very much. Lawrence, on to you. Yeah, where do you see this going in 5 years? And thanks for being on it early on. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, just like farmers, it helps me out as well. It shortens the distance for me to meet with new farmers, widens my field of potential clients, and shortens the time it takes to provide answers to farmers. So it's a benefit from both sides. So I don't think we're going back. I think it's just going to develop and continue to improve as we go forward here.
Awesome. Well, thank you both very much. Those are the kind of the questions I have. I want to turn it over to Chris or Patrick in the last 5 minutes here, if you guys have anything else you'd like to touch on, and then we can start to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wilson. You know, and we talked about how this isn't going back, and you know, really that's the challenge that at AGvisorPRO, or one of the challenges that we have and we face all the time is trying to figure out the next way that we can create a connection between industry and industry, or farmers and industry, and just different ways of doing things. So that's what we're constantly challenged with, is just trying to find different ways that we can shrink time and space within the ag industry, and potentially the different industries in the future. So I see the bull is out. So that's a sign we've got to be getting wrapped up, and maybe what we'll do, Elaine, is you've got your beautiful grandchildren on, let you give a couple final thoughts here, and we'll go around the table and get final thoughts from everyone as we wrap up the call.
Well, this is life on the farm, and blessings to all the moms who are raising children, homeschooling, combining, taking meals to the field. We're very blessed to be in agriculture, but I just really want families to protect their marriages and their relationships, because that's the foundation that we want to build from. And let's be thankful that each day is a new day to learn and to grow and to make something work better. So thanks for this.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your words of wisdom here today, and it's been fantastic getting to know you virtually. So, Patrick, I'll turn it over to you. I guess some final thoughts from you.
Well, I mean, Wilson touched on it a little bit. Like, I mean, our platform wouldn't work without amazing experts like Elaine and Lawrence and Marcel, and so I'm very grateful for them to be early on the platform and to also help us out, right? Like, this is a new concept, and there's a lot of things that are question marks, and so we know it's sometimes not as straightforward as it should be, but so I'm very thankful for that. And just for the growers out there, I really throw out there, like, what do you got to lose, right? Especially if you're listening today, and we're going to give you some credit. So if you want to have a chat with Lawrence on how you're going to make $20,000 next year, why not? What do you got to lose? And the same thing with Elaine or Marcel with his product that can give you or save you quite a lot of money in a very short period of time as well. So I'll turn it over to I guess Wilson to wrap up of one of our youngest team members, and very glad to have him on board as well. So.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I'm very excited to be on board. This is an exciting time. And yeah, I guess, again, I just want to stress thank you so much to our panelists. Thanks, Elaine. Thank you, Lawrence. And I know Marcel's gone, but maybe he's in the background because he's still here kind of. So thank you to him as well. We really appreciate you all being part of this. And thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you to all the attendees. Hope the rest of this harvest season goes well for you. And we'll catch you all later. Again, last thing. Patrick was mentioning this to all the farmers out there. If you download AGvisorPRO during Canada's Outdoor Digital Farm Show, I'm going to add $60 free credit to your account, so you can contact any leading expert on AGvisorPRO for free. So just try it out. I'd be happy to chat with you later. So thanks.
And you folks heard that. That's Wilson's going to add that money from his account to yours. That's fantastic. That's not even AGvisorPRO's funds. It's straight from Wilson's account. You've met him. He's a great young man. Here's your chance to get some of his money. So, with that, final thoughts over to you, Lawrence. Want to bring you in before we wrap up here this morning.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention was my company's name is Sept Markets, but I encourage all the farmers out there to contact me through AGvisorPRO. It's a great way to meet up and get started, and look forward to chatting and see this as the way in the future. So I'm excited to be part of this.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And again, appreciate Lawrence, Elaine, thank you so much for your time here this morning. To all the attendees, thank you for your time as well. Again, time is valuable, and there's only so much of it. So we appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. That's a wrap for here from us from AGvisorPRO. Download the app, get $60 of free credits from Wilson, and everybody have a great day. To those of you still in the field, stay safe, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy harvest.
Bye.
Stay safe.